Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today for this live stream event. My name is Alexia, and I am the program manager of the Microsoft Reactor Toronto. I will be sharing session resources with you in the chat, but before we begin, I'd like to quickly review two items: our code of conduct and event guidelines. First, please take a moment to review our code of conduct. Microsoft Reactor seeks to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. And secondly, our event guidelines. This session is being recorded and will be available on demand through the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel in about 24 to 48 hours. I will be sharing the link in the chat for our channel. And if you have not been on a live stream through YouTube before, please know that you must create an account on YouTube in order to have access or interact in the chat. You can set that up now. And if you're unable to use the chat but have questions, feel free to reach out to us through social media or on our website. Which brings us to today's session. I'm going to bring in our speaker here, Wagner. Hi, how are you?
Hello, Alexia. Fine, and you?
Great, thank you. We're very excited to have you here for your first Reactor session. So thank you so much for being here with us today.
I thank you for the invitation. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Well, take it away.
Okay. So people, let's get started. This will be a simple presentation regarding MS Fabric and real-time analytics with KUSTO. This is a real introductory presentation. We don't expect to show new things for most of the people that already worked with real-time analysis. But anyways, Fabric is something that is probably gonna change the market, and there's so much fuzz around this. The only thing I want to show you here is that how simple it is to work with it. It's a SaaS application, a software as a service. So it's designed to be easy to use, and this is the things I'm going to show you today. Okay, so let's get started. Ouch. Come on, guys. It's freeze. There we go. Okay, a brief introduction of myself. My name is Wagner Cavellini. I'm from Microsoft Brazil. I'm a senior consultant working for Microsoft. Nowadays, I work mostly as a data engineer, and I'm also a columnist in several tech portals here in Brazil and in other international portals also. So let's go to the real business. Our agenda today is discuss those things. What is Fabric? A brief introduction to streaming data. What is KUSTO? Then we're gonna show you guys a demo with doing the real thing. And wrap up, summarizing the steps we did to build this demo and what we emphasizing here with the summary, and also how to learn more about this stuff. I think this is very important to share with you guys, so please feel free to take a look at the end of those slides when we are done here, because I really recommend checking that stuff, okay? So let's go. Okay, as I mentioned before, Fabric is something a little bit different from what we are getting used today, that is the infrastructure as service, a platform as service, and not so common today, the software as service. And Fabric is one of those services we will encounter. It's an end-to-end platform to work with analytics. And you have a bunch of services that you encounter individually in Azure. they are already available for you in Fabric in a very new way and easier way to work with. Okay. Uh, One thing that is not said, but it's between the lines, I guess, is that Fabric is supposed to be a game changer in this market. Microsoft has been investing in this software for quite a while. I would say for the last 6 years or so at minimum. And now it is in public preview. What is very important, it's not generally available. Some things are still under testing, okay? And so we must be careful to work with this kind of stuff in production. We expect to have this as general available service soon, but we don't have a real due date for that, okay? So let's go. What are the interesting things about Fabric? I would point out from the beginning the OneLake thing. When I began to work with my OneDrive or any other service provided by other companies, I get used to it very fast. And this is the expectation we have around OneLake to be a single, unified, logical data lake for your organization. So the basic idea you have to integrate your OneDrive with your all the kinds of files you work in your day-to-day business, you are supposed to have the same thing to analytics. I mean, your data warehouse, your lake house, KQL databases. There are databases that are focused on real-time data, streaming data, I mean. You can also work with Power BI dashboards, and a lot of other stuff that is behind the scenes. All this encompassed in one thing, in one place, that you can share information, that you can add shortcuts to external sources, that you can share information with anybody within your organization the same way you do with your files today. This is this is awesome, to say the least. Okay, once this is working properly in general as general available service, it's going to be a lot simpler to work with your data engineering things in the future. Okay. And another point is that, like as you have in OneDrive, we work with the concept of distributed ownership. So the same way you can share information with others within your company, you will do with your analysis. And beyond that, we can also have one thing in mind. We can avoid duplicating data. This is a nightmare in anywhere that is working with data engineering. We do duplicate data a lot of times. So this is, to say the least, this is not efficient way to work with it. But now you can even not even share the data you have, but you can shortcut external data to work with. This is how we intend to stop duplicating data in the near future. And about streaming data, what exactly we have as a definition for streaming data in Wikipedia? The definition is that data that is continuously generated by different sources. Okay, very straightforward. But what can we do to analyze this near real-time data? This is something very different from the things we are used to in the old-fashioned relational databases. I mean old-fashioned, not as a bad thing, but I've been working with relational databases since forever, and I'm real familiar with it. But to do real-time things there is not easy. It's not. We cannot accomplish the time frames that are needed to work with the real-time thing. So we need something differently. We need something different. Things that allow us to analyze, for instance, monitoring logs that check the health of your applications on your cloud services and things like this. Or if you work in the industry, you will work the telemetry or something, and you have to follow this, to monitor this in a second base. This is something we not used to do with the common languages we have today, but nowadays Microsoft is offering a new service for that, and this is what we're going to talk in the next slide. One thing first, what is the real difference between batch processing and real-time processing? Well, you can ask completely different questions, like this one, for instance. Suppose you have a parking lot there, and you have all the cars in the parking lot, and you ask one question: how many yellow cars are there in this parking lot? Okay, this is very easy to do in a relational database. It's just check how many cars you have already there, and which ones are in the correct color. But when we go to the near real-time analysis, the questions are very different. And one possible question could be, how many yellow cars exit the parking lot each hour? This is completely different, and since it's an hour basis, it's not that easy, that difficult to do. But let's say I have to check that in the second basis, in a two or in a less than a second basis. Things are not prepared to work like this, and we need something that works, process data faster and collects this data faster to really accomplish what you want to do. This is the idea behind KUSTO. And you can understand it as a staging area where you can collect data and generate your measures and your KPIs in a single place. And you will have three different aspects of this architecture. One, to collect the incoming data. Another one, to store this incoming data somewhere. And the third one, to do the queries you want to do. And one important thing, KUSTO was designed to handle this kind of scenario, this kind of analysis in real time. One other thing that it should be obvious, but I would like to point out, you can combine both real-time and batch processing data in the same databases if you need to combine them for your real-time analysis. It's very interesting. And you have amazing number of statistical functions within. It's very interesting. I will not enter in this realm during this presentation because it does need statistical backgrounds and things like that go beyond my knowledge. Simple things are easy to do, okay, but you will learn in the learning path I will share with you guys. But it's amazing the things you can do with this. I was really excited to see when they first showed me the possibilities with KUSTO language. Now let's talk about the downside. I have always thought that the marketing behind KUSTO is very poor because it seems it appeared at first time as Azure Data Explorer that should work with all that stuff. Within a year or two, it became Synapse Real-Time Analytics in the same tool behind it, but now with a new branding. And now we have it within Fabric. Uh, Another thing, they never decided if they call it KUSTO or KQL. And even worse than this, there's another language called KQL that is used. Not quite sure now, but it seems like this Elasticsearch used this so-called KQL. That is not Kusto query language, but Kibana query language. So it's a confusion that we could avoid if we like, but it seems the people did not took the time to do the math and say, well, let's put this awesome product in a real in a real the real position it deserves. It's an awesome tool. It's cost effective. I saw several information saying that the queries in Kusto will cost, we will save as much as 90% of the cost you have with concurrent other services if you do your queries with Kusto. So it's fast, it's uh, a, a very strong product, it's cost effective, so why not brand it correctly so we can use it more? Well, this is something I would like to share with you because um, we nowadays we don't see too many people work with Kusto. Most of the people that work with it now are people that work with, for instance, the telemetry of Azure itself. When you monitor Azure and you need to do your queries, everything we will do will be you will use Kusto. But this is simply one of the possibilities you have. You can do a lot more things than this. So let's start taking a look at this with a closer look at Kusto. That would be a very nice thing to do, and you would add a lot of potential to your companies also. This is something I would like to tell you. Well, it's time to talk about the Kusto query language. Um, First of all, if you have some imagination, Kusto looks like SQL. Okay, it does have some similarities with SQL, but there are details that are hidden that you must take a look before really working with it. Okay. One of the things is that whenever we work with SQL, we are thinking in a table and column basis. When start working with Kusto, there are many times that things are changed to arrays, so you better handle the amount of data you have to work with, to analyze, to plot, or whatever you want to do. But arrays are things that are very important in Kusto. Other things that may be a surprise, but are very important too. First, Kusto is case sensitive. You have to take a look on this. Two, the sequence of clauses is important and completely different from the one we are used to in SQL. And three, when you work with a multi-line statement, you have to use the pipes to inform when the first one is over and you start writing a new query, a new statement, let's say. For instance, see this first query. My mouse is not going properly, but KUSTO query 1, filter activity for the last 10 minutes from the table traffic and show the plates of the cars that were photographed within this time frame. So you pick the table, traffic, then you do the where, and now we're going to filter data from the last 10 minutes, So I used to timestamp greater than or equal to ago 10 minutes. It's done. This is good enough for Kusto. It's telling me that 10 minutes from now. That's okay. And the third line, you have what we usually do in a select in SQL. And now we're going to see the distinct vehicle identification numbers. And going now to the query 2, filter activity for the last 10 minutes from the table traffic and show the plates of moving cars in a chart. Okay. So I first selected specific plates I'm looking for. Then I will show in which avenues and streets. Actually, those are crossroads where the cameras are. So I'm going to show in which avenues and streets it was photographed, and then I show you a scatter chart to present the entire path of those three vehicles during the time I am analyzing. And this is the basics I would like to share about the language KUSTO. And now it's time for a demo. Okay, so the whole idea now is to get my fabric service, my fabric portal, let's say, and start creating my real-time analytics services also, and do some queries with this in the end. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, there's been a fuss around Fabric. A lot of people is looking for this and checking how to work with and doing the demos and the tutorials we have. And I will simply go to another trial here to show specific things regarding the real-time analytics. Okay, so let's do that. Let me first, one moment please, just doing my changes. Okay, now I guess you're seeing my empty browser here. So let's go to Fabric. And well, to save some time in here, I will go straight from the workspace I already have created. Okay, you can see information about how to create your own workspace in Fabric in the literature I'm sharing the end of this presentation. Okay, I will simply save time going straight from my workspace that is already created. This is the workspace I created, and see my picture in here. It already have a bunch of information in here and types of objects to work with, both from real-time analytics, other things with SQL and other stuff, yet with Spark and things like this, so you can combine whatever you like. But as we are gonna start working with real-time analytics, I will change here in the bottom left, I will change my, let's say, my group of work here to real-time analytics. And then I will have the opportunity to, to create new stuff. Um, let's create a new KQL database. What? It opened a different screen? No. I don't know what's going on with my mouse today, but I'm sorry for that. And finally, it's not my mouse. It's really taking some time, really, for real. Reactor. Oh, 2003 and 03. Okay, I'm creating a new KQL database with this name. This is a default database. As you see, you can create shortcuts for external database and follow it, but this is the one that we're going to work with now. Well, unfortunately, my connection here seems to be taking too much time to create simple stuff. Actually, I have backups for all the stuff I'm going to show you here, but if we have any trouble in the meantime to create the stuffs we're going to use, I will do that in another way. Okay. So now we already created a new database called Reactor 2023. Now I want to create a new table. My new table. Okay. You can create as many tables as you like, and you will define the sources for this. Usually in the real world, you can use information from a blob container, or for instance, in your lakehouse, from Event Hub, or even in Amazon S3 if you like, in OneLake itself, within your Fabric service. But for a simple example, I'll import a small file from my own desktop. Sales. It's a very small file, 3 megabytes. Okay. I do not intend to query such a small file, but this is the time we have. So I will show a simple example of importing this. Then we're going to a larger database, a larger table, which is not that large anyways, but it will do the job. This is a CSV. Okay, ignore the first record because it's the titles, ingest data. Next. So you're good to ingest the data and have it already done. If you create a connection to Event Hub, this is the real deal, the real thing we're going to do. You have to understand that this connection will be opened, and as long as your Event Hub is working and bringing new data, your table is going to be refreshed. And that's the thing I would like you guys to see. Now we have a new table with only 4 megabytes. And just to have the taste of this, I will show you how can you start querying this small table. So let's go to table, new table, and I'm going to query it. You will see that there are a bunch of samples of queries for KQL, for SQL, and whatever you like. Let's get started from here. This is a simple KQL query. Name of the table, pipe for another line, and take the first 100, sorry, take the first 100 uh, rows in your file. I want to add a filter in here and just filter the date for July 19, 19th. Okay, so let's go. Where? Oops. As I mentioned before, I need to add a pipe when starting a new line of your statement. Order date between. I will add a small trick in here, date time, to avoid errors. This is useful because sometimes you forget some stuff and your date is not recognized. Usually we don't treat them as strings as the normal way to represent this in SQL. Our date time 2019 07/31. Oops, there's a dash in here missing. Let's see. You see that it's in blue, all the statements in blue. It means that only with this one we're going to be executed now. Oh, I missed something. I guess it's this extra. Let me do some changes. A small change, and comment this one. Let's see if it's okay. Okay. I guess it's the end thing. I'm not quite sure it's an end. No. Here. It's daytime, comma. This is something that really bothers that sometimes you mistake the things you're doing because it's double. I guess it's double. Yeah, that's it. You see the syntax a little bit different between parentheses, two dots, and the last one. Now you have dates for only July 17th, July 19th. Now I'll do some queries in here. Summarize. Let's see what are the information we have here. Quantity and unit price. Okay, so total sales equal to the sum of quantity times unit price. by item. You don't have the group by thing. It's simply the summarize the numbers you want to see and the results you like. That's it. Okay. So far, we have some simple stuff to work with, and I'm moving now to a more elaborate table with more information. I guess it has for 40 million records, dealing with information about um, Jesus, information about the traffic in a large city. Okay, so let's check that. I will not save. Okay, let's save this one just for records. I'll save this as a query set sample sale. Okay, create. This query is now saved and available as a query set in your database. Okay, so I can run this, and even better, I can create a Power BI with these queries. And then you present the way you want. So you have your query. I will show this as a simple bar chart. And we'll have the items and the sums. Let's see if it's okay. They are in the wrong positions, right? So let me correct that item. And this, remove this. This will be sum of sales. Okay, now we're good. Let's say this dashboard is good enough for me. I can save it. It's gonna be dash 2023 1003. Okay. Saving now. Now we're good. We already have a dashboard linked to my query set and linked to my tables and database. And if I go out here and go to my workspace, where's my workspaces? My workspace in here. I will show a refresh by date. You see, the dashboard is in here. And whenever I come back to my dashboard and I refresh the data, and you will see the new data already available there. So things are supposed to be linked in an easy way, and so your job can be more productive with all that stuff. I didn't put any slicer in this, but anyways, it's already created one for us if you like. But this is the simple things that we can do with Fabric and its integration with the data you have and the Power BI dashboards you want to show. Now I'll go back one step and go a bit deeper into the KUSTO thing, so you can see more details about this the things for the last 15 minutes we have for this meeting. Okay, I'll go back to my workspace here. And instead of picking the database called 2023, let me go. Okay, we have database, man, oh. We have data sets, KQL databases. Okay, I have a backup database here in the Reactor database. Let me check if this is the one. Okay, that's it. I have a larger database with now with 2.3 gigabytes. This database have 40 million rows. This table, I mean, have 40 million rows, so we can go a bit deeper in here. And I'm gonna open a query set that I was working with that handles data from this table traffic. Let me go a step back. And again, my query set should be traffic queries. Okay, this is it. I'll show you from the beginning so you can understand what we have here. Again, let's pick the first rows to check what we have. And this is the database. You have cameras in each crossroads you have in your city, and then you take pictures of every car that passed that crossroad in a minute basis. Okay. So we have a lot of information in here. In an hour, we collected over 40 million records for this database because we're not only checking the crossroad where you were taking a picture. You can see the entire path that was followed by each car that you took the pictures. And this is the thing. Some things we're gonna check in here. Okay. The second thing I will do is check how many records we have and what's the time span that we're covering with this table. We have data from October 16th, 8 in the morning to October 16th, 9:17 in the morning. We have 40 million records for 1 hour and 17 minutes. This is the real thing, the thing we have when we really start working with real-time data. Usually we have lots of sensors collecting data with very frequently, and so the amount of data grows very fast. In this other query, I will also check how many vehicles am I checking in this table, okay? So you will see I add another item here, quantity of vehicles equal to, you don't have this count parentheses distinct that you use in SQL. We have this count distinct and the column you want to check. Keep in mind that this is only one of the functions we have for this. We have other one called dcount that you have an approximation of the results so you can do a faster analysis within a larger data set using these functions, okay? It's not 100% precise, but it gives you a very good idea of what you're looking for. And another point, you see there is no piping here. Oh, what's going on? Well, this is a single line of my statement. So you don't need to put a pipe there. If I want to project something else, then I will put a pipe there. Okay, so run this guy now. You see, we are following over 300,000 vehicles with this table. Okay, now let's talk about sorting data. Um, there's something very interesting about KUSTO, and I would like you guys to see. Very simple, right? Traffic, summarize count, sort by count. If you pay attention to the results I'm showing, you will see what I would like to point out. The default sorting for KUSTO is descendant because we always are looking, for instance, the most recent date. So to avoid any complications in here, the default for sort is always descendant. Can I do another way? Sure, as you do in SQL, you can put ascendant in here, and we will be in another point. You can put the descendant there, and we will do the default, that is, put larger numbers first. Okay, this is interesting because sometimes you want to do some stuff in your reports and to then you see that the results are in a strange way, sorted in a strange way. That's the reason why you will see the that stuff. Now let's talk about filtering data. I want to see information about the the records for a given vehicle. So I will check this one only. You see there is a double equal here when you're using in the where clause. And then you have the results you wanted. Okay, very simple. You can have other operators in here. For instance, let me do another one. You can put different, then you have millions of records there. You can put a in, oops. I'm sorry, in parentheses as you do in SQL. The same result for as the first one, and so on. You already saw the between for the dates we showed before. So let's move on. Interesting things, joins and subqueries. Can you do joins and subqueries in KUSTO? Yes. Should you use joins in your sub-KUSTO queries? Expected not to do it. Simply put, if you can avoid doing joins, better. It will work better. The things are supposed to handle large tables in memory. So if you can avoid doing a join, it will be a great idea. If you have to do it, please try first to minimize the amount of data you were working with. As I'm doing here, I create a subquery with this let command and the semicolon in the end. So now I'm filtering only records for a given crossroad here, a given corner. And now I'm joining that stuff, and this is the syntax I want. Join, kind, inner, it could be left, right, left outer, things like and so on, the joins we have in SQL. So as inner, then the table we're joining with, and then the list of columns you want to use in your join. And you see, this expects that the name of columns, timestamp, avenue, and street are the same in both tables. Otherwise, I need to do a different syntax here. It's not very complicated, but you simply add dollar left dot the name of the column equals to right dollar right dot the name of the other column, and do the rest of the things the same way. Okay. Okay, and now that putting it all together, we'll speed up things a little bit because I would like to leave time for questions. And this one was to creating a time span with for 30 minutes each. And so this is an example for doing so. And I would like to show the results for the example I mentioned in the slide. Presenting a scatter chart for the paths followed by 3 cars. Then I create a list of objects for avenues and streets, detailed by vehicle, and then I create my scatter chart. Very nice indeed. This is the kind of things to do in SQL would be a lot more complicated than this. Okay. I would like to mention that we are only scratching the surface of KUSTO with those examples. I didn't show any example for instance, to find outliers in your data, to create timelines in your data, and things like this. And KUSTO is awesome to do that kind of stuff. So I really encourage you guys to check this query language and learn more about this. I'm doing some suggestions here in the end because it's really interesting. It's gonna help you a lot. That is something that should be part of your toolkit, and as much as SQL is part of your toolkit, and Spark also should be nowadays, right? But anyways, this is the simple demo I wanted to show you guys, and let's wrap up. Okay. I changed the. Now we're good. Okay, so let's see what we did. Simple steps to do your work here in KUSTO. First, you create your workspace in Fabric. Then you create your database in the real-time analytics. Third, you create your table and load your data. Fourth, create your queries and save it as query sets so it can be reused in your dashboards. And 5, and you can show your analysis and save it to your workspace so you can reuse it. Very simple, very straightforward. There are some things that are going to be required in the future. For instance, I've never tried to create a dashboard with multiple charts within. For instance, if my query set has a lot of charts to be shown, never tried this before. Don't know if it will work. But for considering the path we are following now, things are expected to be very interesting and powerful in the near future. So I would like to tell you guys, please keep your eye open for Fabric. And finishing here with the summary. Now we go to the recommendations. Okay. Um, with Fabric is a SaaS. It can speed up a lot your analysis and your analytics with both with batch processing, lake houses, and real-time data, all of them in one place. And two, and this is extremely important, is that you can collaborate easily within your company and share results and share data as you like. This is something that is usually very hard to do with other technologies. Considering about Kusto, Kusto is very powerful. I didn't have the opportunity to show you guys how powerful it is because it will take 1 hour presentation just to talk about this stuff, and maybe I'm not qualified to do that much. Okay. um, all the other two other points, and it's the scalability. You can go to hundreds of terabytes. I know of some benchmarks with petabytes working with Kusto. And another one is performance. Kusto has a very good performance. So it's the a very powerful tool nowadays for working with real-time data in a great scale, and a very tough competitor if you want to check costs also. And so let's go to the oops. Oh man, it probably my slide was, I forgot to change to the it's hidden and it was not presented here. I'll do a simple change here while you guys have the time to do your questions. If anybody has questions, it's the time to do that. My contacts are in here and LinkedIn if you like. I see. It seems that there is no question for today, but I insist to show the slide regarding um, okay. Let me.
Yeah, Wagner, it looks like everything is pretty clear for everyone. So we can.
Actually, it was supposed to be a very simple demo. So as I said, no big deal. But I hope I'm glad to see that people were happy with this content.
It looks like we have
If,
just one question in the chat.
okay. For integrating various data sources with Microsoft, is Dhruv your name? If I'm pronouncing the wrong way, I'm sorry for that. Dhruv, you have all the stuff we have in SQL you can use in Fabric. You can have Synapse, Spark pools, serverless SQL pools. You can have Data Explorer. This is the one that we really showed now. That is Synapse Real-Time Analytics, all known before as Azure Data Explorer. You can use even Databricks. I guess I didn't have the opportunity to work with Databricks so far, but I have done some things with Synapse Sparkles. That is both basically the same stuff, and it's working okay. Regarding other relational databases that are available in Azure, like Postgres, MySQL, MariaDB, and things like this, I'm not quite sure how to use this in this environment so far. I didn't have the opportunity to work with it, but I understand that anything you have in Azure will be available for you to work with it in Fabric. Hope this helps. Security on the workspace level. Yes, we have a bunch of things to do. We have special RBAC roles for you to work with. So this is a whole topic to be presented about Fabric. I bypassed that stuff. I bypassed that stuff on purpose today because we would not have time to do everything. But yes, you can do a lot of stuff there. And in the information I'm going to share here in the chat, because I'm not able to I'm not able to I'm not able to present my slide. Is not refreshing in here. Okay, Alexia, I'll show to you if you can share in the chat because it's not working my side. The first one is we have now several learning paths available for Fabric in Microsoft Learn. They are free, and you can choose the language you want to hear to use it during your training. Okay, so I'm putting only the first one. This gets started with Microsoft Fabric training. It's a 10-hour training, and this is only of the one out of three that are already available. Okay, it's very interesting. Gives you um, overall sight of all the things. And regarding Kusto, I'm sharing in the two references. First one is a tutorial available, also Microsoft Learn, is learn common Kusto query language operators. You have a lot of stuff there, and you will be with examples, and it's very easy. And I invite you guys to take a look in this Kusto Detective Agency. This is an awesome gamified training. I had the opportunity to work in the first season, let's say, that we had last year. This year, I didn't have the time to work on the challenges, but you will learn Kusto based in a game. It's awesome. And there's a third one I would like to mention that happens periodically. I'm not quite sure about the schedule for the next months or so, how it's going to work. But I invite you guys to check in the internet. ADX in a day is a 1 day training, free, free of charge, any charge. So you can learn more about Kusto and real-time analytics. As I mentioned, ADX was the former name for the current Synapse real-time analytics. And I'm sharing the the link. Once more, I ask your help on this, Alexia. Ooh. Well, okay. Again, if you're able to change to share with the listeners, because I forgot to join the chat, and now I cannot do that without without doing any weird stuff. Okay. Let me see if there's any other question. I saw the question from Dhruv. Shanta also asked something, and I think that's it. Well, guys, you have my contacts here in LinkedIn and email. feel free to contact if you need anything. And I hope you like this presentation. Thank you.